Walkie check.
Good check.
Copy that. What's the ETA on it?
2 minutes.
Copy that.
Okay, and roll sound.
Rolling!
Incoming transmission.
2, 1.
Hello, Covered Fam. Thank you very much for tuning in, and this is it is an absolute pleasure to have you all once again in here today. I was actually trying to discuss about a topic that was actually being rumored about a couple of days before, about none other than the Suzuki Hayabusa 2021. So I did some research. In fact, I was late to understand about these rumors coming in. But again, I did learn about the rumors and what is or can be expected out of the new Hayabusa 2021. And this video is going to be completely on that. Uh, Full disclosure, I am not a person who likes or loves or who feels uh, going nuts seeing Hayabusa. Trust me, because I have my own. Everybody has their own taste, so no judgments here. Because according to me, a sports bike should be good at cornering, which Hayabusa, being the sport tourer, is not that great. Maybe it's because the place that I live, because in Ooty you don't find straight roads. So any bike that is much more flickable on the turns uh, is something which every person from Ooty will look up to. So Hayabusas, to be very frankly speaking, the Flying Falcon, right? It is actually meant to go straight and very fast. I give it that. But when even when I was when Hayabusa came in, say about 2008, 2010, I was not a big fan of it because I always felt Hayabusa to be very bulky, more like an egg-shaped headlight, which because all the other competitors already had dual headlights, which actually gives you a better, at least to me, it actually gave you a better vision on the road when you're driving at night, right? But Hayabusa was still old school, if I have to say, single. Of course, it is. I understand it had a high beam and low beam separate division within the headlight, but again, it did not have dual headlights. Is what I was about to say. But all said and done, those are the things of the past, if I might say, because I don't know whether how many people had a chance to go through the so-called rumors, right? And to be very frankly speaking, I cannot even believe myself saying this, but I am kind of impressed with the outcome. So let's not waste any time. Let's jump in. So back in 2019, if you were still into the rumors, this was supposed to be the next generation hybrid. This is how it should have been looking at. It's just a more like a rendering. Most of the people said this is how it would look like. I was kind of okay with it, especially because of the price range that it comes in. So it is not just a sport tourer; it's a hyper sport tourer. So you should understand that fact. So because of that, yes, I would have gone for it. I mean, I would have still said, okay, cool. It at least looks much more leaner when compared to the older one. But I was not a very big fan of all these LED jargons that's running, even on headlights. Forget about the on the frame, but on the headlights, it was more glittery for me. Uh, but I was under the impression maybe it will actually grow up on me, right? So I was okay with it. I was just hoping, but I still didn't want so much of glitteriness to a vehicle. It is uh, it is actually losing its character. I'm not trying to say anything wrong, but again, it was more glittery. I mean, so It was more for me. It was more turning into a feminine character than the macho feel that it actually had. So no offense there. So that is my personal opinion. This was my personal opinion. But having said that, the new rumored model that has come out, I think it came out about 6 days before. I was, as I told you, I was late in getting this one, so I did my research. Frankly speaking, I am, as I told you, I did not expect this one, but I am absolutely in love with it. The reason is because I love the GSX, even though it does not have a dual headlamps. The reason that I told that I don't like Hayabusa, but it was much more sculpted to perfection, is what I always felt. So that is one of the reasons. But I was pleasantly surprised so to see the new rumored version. If that comes out, trust me, it will it will rule for sure, right? So this is what the rumored version looks like. Before getting into the aesthetics of the vehicle, let me at least give you a perfect download of what is expected and what could be expected of this vehicle, so that we understand what we're talking about and things like that. So, if you know about the older Hayabusa, it never had any major um, electronic gimmicks, basically. Right? I understand it only had three driving modes and ABS. That's it. It still had the an analog speedometer and a tachometer with the gear indicator. That's it. It was very old school, very functional, if I might say. But again, what is expected, and it is almost confirmed with all the uh, resources that we can actually get through. So, what is expected out of this vehicle initially is, of course, it might become a 1400 cc from 1340. They might actually come up with a 1400 cc, but a bump in this bhp as well as 200 bhp. Of course, it will be electronically restricted for 300 kilometers per hour because of the so-called gentleman's deal. Seriously. But the fact is, the reason why this is something which normally any manufacturer is doing to adhere to the emission norms and things like that. They actually bump up the power and the bhp too, so that they can actually it can actually help them with the emission norms. But going for the features is where um, this is definitely not going to be the old Hayabusa. It's going to be a complete revamped model when it comes to the features. So, for to start with, it will definitely have an inertial measurement unit (IMU) to support all the advanced so-called electronic systems like cornering ABS. I doubt that. Trust me, because even I still cannot get that over my head, because Hayabusas are not meant for cornering. You can. I'm not saying you cannot, but it is not as flickable as in any other super sport, basically. Of course, I know I'm stupid enough to compare a hyper tourer to a super sport, but again, Hayabusa still reigns supreme in all divisions. Let's agree on that, right? So it will have traction control, great, because it's a tourer. As I told you, it should actually have a traction control, wheelie mitigation, etc. Right? All these normal, so-called normal, the new normal, basically, with all these sports bike with wheelie control, corner ABS, traction control, etc. Since, as I told you, it's a hyper tourer by gene. All these things would be definitely an add-on, even though people still can debate saying the older like Hayabusa was much more raw and things like that. But again, learn to, I'll agree it, just for the sake of not having an argument, but learn to live with the times is what I would say. If you own it, own it. I'm not asking to. I'm not asking you to go sell it off, but the latest version would be a better version, is what I personally feel. Of course, it'll also have the navigation system that can be connected to the phone, like just like the. Sorry that I had to compare it with the Ducat. I mean the Duke 390's speedometer system or something like that. But it's going to look like that. It is going to be completely a digital instrument console. Of course, as you see, you have a completely LED lights, and I'm pretty sure they will actually have a complete out of the world, especially in the terms of Hayabusa, a high quality braking system. Because one thing which Hayabusa lacked throughout, ask any owner uh, of Hayabusa, they will have only one problem, that is on the braking systems. The braking, it was absolutely failure. It is more like the old RS 100, RS 100, because the vehicle was so powerful, the vehicle cannot even stop with the brakes that was given. So you always had to upgrade, or you have to learn the trick of riding a Hayabusa on the when you're actually going on hyper rides, basically. So that is all about it. And of course, as you see, you can always see the front suspension. It has actually been reworked, which is absolutely good. Even it is clear in here also. So that is the only major changes that the Hayabusa will come up with. Of course, you have different colors or comments. That's all, which is all rendered basically. But I personally like it now because it's much more. As I told you, look at the headlights when compared to this one, right? You understand the point, right? Even the headlights, it's more like uh, I felt that even the headlights had these LED running lights, which is not the case when I see this one. It's a completely different model, right? This also is a rendering. But hopefully this is not a rendering, because this is what is being rumored, that saying this is how the Hayabusa 2021 would be coming. Yes, you heard it right. Uh, we could have expected in 2020 late December by Christmas, but thanks, or I'm sorry, unfortunate to the situations that is running around the world, they are planning to push it to early 2021. Yes, that is what it is rumored across. So initially, when by 2019, they did not have a finite deadline to work on, but they were actually working out they were actually working to get a better version of Hayabusa that has been reigning for so long, right? So they will come up with the expectation was they'll come up with a model that can again run for another 2 decades without major revamping, basically. So that, I personally feel they have done it, because see, when the only problem with the resurrection, or the history being revamped or retuned, people end up tuning too much that it actually loses the crux of what it was. But what I understand, they are going to have the same thing. A lot of parts is going to be from the Hayabusa, so that actually helps us, um, helps the older Hayabusa owners and the new owners to have the parts really readily available in most of the cases, and that also helps the production in many ways, saying they can reduce the cost of manufacturing. So there are a complete high level rumor that it can be a turbocharged engine. I understand where these people are coming from, but I completely understand, because this is a hyper tourer. If at all they have a supercharged engine, just like the H2, not the H2, but the H2SX, the tourer version of it, they can compete with that basically. Maybe just bump the price by about 3 to 4 lakhs higher only for supercharger. So it will come around 20 lakhs on road. Let's hope, right? That's if it is coming about 20 lakhs on road, people will not have too much of issues buying a Hayabusa because of its heritage, that and the legacy that it has lived through. So 20 lakhs for Hayabusa, people will still buy it, and if it is supercharged, it will be absolutely wonderful, because it will take the better of the Kawasaki Z1000, or not the Z1000, the Ninja 1000, which is considered to be the best tourer at this point in time. But of course, with the side panel and the frames, so or sports tourer, if you want to say. So it can actually absolutely break um, uh, that vehicle, basically that vehicle's market. Of course, the Ninjas, ZX10R, all these so-called hyper bikes or super sports, which falls between anywhere between 15 to 20 lakhs, including the ZX, when not the ZX, the S1000RR, the 2021 version. If it's going to be that, you can actually have one bike to take care of the H2SX, uh, through the lower end of the band of Kawasaki with the Ninja 1000. That is something which I personally feel, if they can come with a supercharger, it would be awesome. Trust me, the people who are actually driving a Kawasaki or riding a Kawasaki will sell the vehicle and go in for this one. That would be a very simple option for anybody to choose. It will actually rule as I told you, it will actually rule the complete market. because this is one vehicle where people feel that they're driving a hypersport because of the power and the raw power, and it is still so easy on your shoulders and the hands. It's still a tourer, right? It's not that aggressive. Frankly speaking, it looks really really good. Is what I personally want to conclude, which is something which I never thought Hayabusas were. Of course, as I told you, the taste is subjective. But again, look at these. Seriously, I was in love when I saw these pics. When I was actually searching for the rumored versions of what is happening around. If this is what it is going to be, I might have my money for this vehicle. I will not even think of any other vehicle because Hayabusa, of course, for the heritage and things like that. And it is definitely got a stand. Even though I complain it to be bulky, it has definitely got its own stance, which is absolutely crazy for when you see it on the road. So the presence is always there. It is definitely an eye turner. I mean, yeah, the head turner basically. So this is all about it. I hope you would have liked the comparison. If it comes in without even the so-called turbocharged, which is insane. If to be even thinking of it, if at all they are not even able to do that, about the same price range, let's say 15, maybe bump it for by a lakh, just like any other manufacturer is doing it, 50,000 to 1 lakh, bump it up, people will be still buying it. I think by 2021, the whole so-called two-wheeler market, because of this vehicle, will go in for a toss, right? Because more and more people are are investing the money on sports bike rather than going in for a house or a car or something like that. So this will fit in perfectly for all kind of riders, basically from the hyper sports, hyper riders to the person who love to ride all across India, things like that. Wow. So that's it for today's video. I just wanted to share my thoughts on what I felt about the new Hayabusa, so-called the rumored Hayabusa that is coming in. I hope you would have loved at least seeing what I have shown you, and all the specification, which is at this point in time it is almost confirmed. That's how it is going to be. It can be a little here and there, but again, it's 99% it's the same thing. So let's see. So I will catch you in the next video.
Copy
Until
that.
then,
Roger that.